Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TC Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, it's going to be sort of not really a rant video, but more just a discussion video where I want to talk about some of the discourse I'm seeing on Kano on Twitter, kind of give my thoughts on it, get your thoughts as a community, and hopefully turn it into more of a positive light on just another hero doing really well. But we're going to get right into it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. If you're a long-staying supporter, thank you so much as always. Feel free to check out the Patreon and the channel membership. Still getting used to that. The channel membership for the YouTube. We have 3 tiers that you can check out down below to support the channel in various ways, as well as the Discord. And we'll get right into it. So Kano ended up being number 1 in wins for Road to National Season Week 1. And so I'm not gonna call anybody out specifically. Because there was a lot of different people talking about it, right? It wasn't one specific person. So when I make this video, this is not directed at any one human. This is more just me kind of giving thoughts. First thing that I thought was really funny. So Kano had 12 wins, and the next highest person had 8. So Kano had like 10 to, I think, if I can do math in my head, 10 to 12% of the win share out of the 76 Road to Nationals events week 1. And that's a lot, right? And a lot of people, first off, were saying that people fudged it, and it was supposed to be KO, not Kano, since they're so close. People probably accidentally clicked the wrong hero when registering and all sort of stuff. So, like, I can't prove or disprove that here on the channel. All I can say is I don't think people would do that personally, especially to the point of, like, that much, right? I think that's a little bit silly. I think people just aren't used to it. I think Kano is very well positioned in this meta. There's a lot of mid-range decks. You know, week 1 of any season in Road Nationals or ProQuest is typically the week that people are cheating on AB. Like, they're not running Null Rune. They're not running Oasis, not running all that stuff. They're just hoping, they include myself, just hoping they don't run into a Kano. So I could very well see Kano doing well in, like, week 1 of Road Nationals, right? Second thing is, I saw some people say, like, is this confirmed, when it was coming from the Flesh and Blood Twitter, which I thought was hilarious. Like, can we get secondary confirmation? I'm like, yeah, because the Flesh and Blood, anyway, that was the funniest thing. Was like, it's literally coming from Flesh and Blood proper, from LSS. I don't know how you would validate that more unless you call every store in the country that ran a Road to Nationals and double check. But even then, you're going to have to make sure that someone didn't fudge their freaking hero. Like, it's just so ridiculous to even say that. So that was really funny. It's just some of the people are so not used to Kano winning that much that they, like, just came up with these wild, crazy things, right? So I thought that was funny. So then I put out a tweet. I'm not going to show the tweet because, again, I'm not putting one person out here. This is just general discussion, saying how I think that this is the sign of one of the healthiest formats Flesh and Bloods ever have. And I truly do think that. There's no Prism. There are a couple, like, slightly gatekeepy decks, right, with Dromai. Kano is somewhat of one, but not really, because you can actually tech into Kano. When I say gatekeep decks, right, so we talk about prior in previous, right, format. So one is Oldheim. Oldheim was kind of a gatekeeping deck. Talistar Data is huge grain of salt, but is the only physical representation I have to show you. This is back in May of 2023, the month before around where Oldheim Living Legend. And so as you can see, obviously Oldheim is going to gatekeep Assassin. So Arachne and Uziri struggle a little bit. Uziri was a little bit better, but really it's like a 64 matchup. It's really bad, right? Oldheim's also extremely hard to pilot, so this is a little bit different. But honestly, Oldheim just being in the format made it to where you pretty much couldn't play Assassin. You really couldn't play Katsu unless the Oldheim was just incompetent. You should never beat a Katsu or lose to a Katsu. You couldn't really play, like, any of these new heroes like Riptide or anything like that. You basically had to play a hero that somehow could develop a board state or get over the top of Oldheim stuff. But he basically gatekeeped like 3 or 4 heroes in the game. Not too bad, but he did. Then you went to Icelander. Icelander literally was the biggest, even more than Prism, in my opinion. Gate kept so many decks out of the format. You literally could not play Assassin. Uziri and Arachne, virtually unplayable. You could not play. Katsu was very, very bad. You had to get very lucky in order to win that matchup. You couldn't play, like, heroes like Riptide, Teklavos, impossible. Bolton was absolutely horrible. Viscerai felt bad into it. Like, there were, like, if you look at the matchup spread here, and this is general games, right? This isn't high level play, but look how many 70-30 matchups she had. Literally 5 right here. You can count Katsu as 6. and then 7. She had 7 matchups in the game that were 70-30 or better, or around that, right? Like, obviously skill level dependent, but from a general, like, community-wide perception level, 70-30 matchup. But this is one of the most beloved heroes from a lot of people, right? And then, you come to Kano, and first off, I want to show this off really fast. If you ever go to the heroes section on February, they'll let you look at, like, matchups from I have a video where you can watch the hero be played, the hero lore, all that stuff. But if you look at Kano, right, let's just switch this really fast to updated. We won't even do we'll do February, right? Take out legend heroes. And if you look at Kano's matchup spread, again, this is Talishar, grain of salt, but 50% matchup spread across the entire, thing. The only 60-40 matchups Kano has is Olympia and Betsy, which we're not going to count because those decks just aren't real right now. Kasai feels really bad. Teklevossen, and then Victor. It's a very good counter to Victor. And I guess you could count Riptide as well as far as, like, those kind of decks. But it's pretty 50-50 in a KO, right? It's unfavored in anything. It's aggro. It does really bad in a Dromai typically, right? Really bad, pretty bad in the dash. It is favored in a Bravo, but it's still not completely because Bravo has ways of disrupt, right? Like, it's not. It's one of the hardest piloted decks in the game, and it also doesn't have this crazy gatekeeping matchup spread like Prism did, or like Oldheim did, or Icelander did. This is one of the few formats in the game. I mean, if you just look at the general format here, how many heroes have above a 55% win rate, right? Which in most TCGs is like where your top decks are. We only have Dromai at 56, Kasai at 55, and then Victor's almost there at 54, right? This is one of the best formats we've had. Do I agree that Kano, like, I'll be straight up honest, and this is no hit to the devs or anything at LSS, but yes, Kano sucks to play into. You're not playing Flesh and Blood when you play against Kano. You're not. Kano's playing Flesh and Blood. Kano's playing the push and pull, but you aren't. It's just solitaire, and you hope to God that you find your counter card before they find their stupid card. That's basically all it is, right? So I get why it's frustrating to play against, but it doesn't take away from the fact of how good this meta is. It's just the way I look at it, right? And then the other funny thing is, again, Talishar is the only physical representation I can show this, but let's just look at Guardian, right? Especially Victor. Victor has an almost 70-30 matchup until, let's see, let's just say 65 plus. 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are meta decks. We'll use only meta decks. 1, 2, Dasho 3, Dory 4, 5, 5, Katsu 6. We'll skip Olympia just for argument's sake. Riptide 7, and if you want to put Vincent in there, you could say 8. It depending on what you consider a meta deck, anywhere from 6 to 9 decks where it has at least above a 65% win rate, and then 4 decks that has above a 70% win rate. If anything, Victor gatekeeps the format more than Kano does right now, and I find it. And this is the one thing I'm going to get a little ranty on, is I find it really funny that a lot of top players I'm seeing are complaining about Kano, but they're running Victor. Like, so you're complaining about a deck that has 0 interaction, that feels bad to play against, that you don't feel like you have any agency into. However, there's certain matchups into Victor where you have pretty much zero agency, barring a crazy high roll, right? Victor's able to play Trounce on your turn and make insane value and play Prime to fight off a 1-card hand. He's able to, and then also draw a card. He's able to make Might tokens and, like, Vigor tokens at constant and just outvalue the crap out of you, literally by preventing you from doing what you want to do. Similar to Oldheim, right? I just find it funny that a lot of top players complain about Kano agency, but, like, as a Katsu or as as a Azalea or as even a Levia, you have zero agency in that matchup. You're right, like zero agency. Even some of the best Uziri players, like, they can just tech you. And the difference between a hero like Victor and a hero like Kano is, yes, does Oasis and Null Rune always fix the matchup in the Kano? No. But there's a very obvious way to try to tech into Kano that can disrupt them very, very heavily, right? Victor, like me as a Katsu, what do I do to tech into Victor? Run links, sure. Like, there's little things you can do, but it still doesn't stop them from what they're doing. It doesn't change the agency that they're playing on. It just helps maybe your game plan a little bit more. Whereas at Kano, you can actually tech into that deck, and it's just funny because a lot of top players, their pet class is Guardian, so they're gonna never like say that Victor's bad when Victor's literally gatekeeping more decks than Kano is. But yeah, I don't want to get too crazy on it, and I don't want to single anybody out. It's just I want to wrap this in a bow of saying, like, try not to be so negative. The game is in a super good spot. I mean, we had 17 different heroes win a Road to Nationals in 76 events. Out of 76 events, 17 different heroes won a Road to Nationals, right? And we're seeing a very wide, like Kano, yes, was at the top at 12, but from the 8 to 5 win range, we had, 10 plus heroes? So I think people need to, like, just see where we're at. We're in a very cool spot. Even with, like, slightly gatekeepy decks like Victor and Jeremiah, it's still the best the meta has ever felt. Like, I feel like if I'm just looking down here and I'm being serious for a second, and we look at the decks that I think are playable in this meta, like actually playable, like if you take this deck to an event, you could win with it, right? I mean, look at what I'm clicking on here. I'm just going through and seeing what Max is a little bit iffy, although I do know a really good Max player here. Like Reiner's a little bit hard right now, but I think it did win one. Like that's just my pick. And this is just my initial thought, right? Just going down really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 decks out of 26 where I say, okay, if this person is playing this hero, they're trying to win the Road to Nationals. They're trying to win the event, right? I could see them, playing into something. Even Ninja with struggles in the Victor, they feed on the Dromize, right? Or they can feed on the Dromize. So, like, this is just what I think. And then there are some fringe decks here, right? Like, you could even say, like, you could see someone on Reinhardt sneaking in a win, right? You could see someone on Bolton sneaking in a win, right? Like, there's and even Vincent picked up a win. So, over 2/3 of the decks in the game are actual, like, at a Road to Nationals level, winnable decks. And so I don't understand how you think that Kano being the top makes this format bad for the game when this is honestly the most open and most approachable the game has ever been since I started playing in Monarch, right? Like, even Victor, which I don't like inherently as a deck because of some of the stuff it can do, it doesn't have as much as the dredge and the crap as like Oldheim did or Icelander, like this, the feeling of like hopelessness, right? So I try to be positive about it. I think people need to give it time. Week 2 is going to be very telling because people are going to put AB back in their deck. People are going to put Oasis in their sideboards. People are going to play different ways in the Kano to try to disrupt. Like, there's going to be ways people do it. So try to be patient. Don't fall into the loop of negativity. I've been just seeing this last year. There's certain individuals or groups of individuals that are just constantly negative and never feel like they're satisfied with the game, and try not to get wrapped into that. Try to stay positive, get more people playing the game, get more people enjoying it. But yeah, I don't want to go too long. I just want to get your thoughts as a community. It'd be really interesting. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Like I said, I have said openly on the channel and on Twitter, I do not like Kano. I've complained into the void about Kano. So for me to defend it here should show something, right? But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Like, comment, disagree, whatever it is, totally fine. If you like this type of discussion, you can feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If you're not, it's totally fine. Go to another creator, talk to them about it, leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff so we can get more people seeing this game. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time on TC Talk. Thank y'all so much.